My name is Tarun Sharma and I'm the founder and CEO of Yodda. Aging is a worldwide problem and India has been lucky so far because we are one of the youngest countries in the world. Some of the countries that are a little bit more socialistic in nature have done a phenomenal job in terms of government programs for the elderly. Countries like Japan, Singapore and many of the Nordic countries are really role models for how elder care should be panned out within any country. In some of the more capitalistic countries, private players have played a very important role and many of them began with retirement communities. And India is seeing the same. India currently has 133 million people above the age of 60. But this number is growing very fast. By 2051, we are expected to have more than 300 million people above the age of 60. Just to put that in perspective, that's just a little bit lesser than the entire US population. The elders are also finding themselves in a strange new land where everything around them is now digital. The younger generation has no problem ordering food on Zomato or Swiggy or ordering their cab on Uber. But for an elder, to learn that many new technologies in the new world is quite overwhelming. The whole world around them has changed and they need a simpler interface. While the infrastructure is now developing, they still can't seem to take full advantage of that infrastructure. No. And then, of course, there's COVID. The world post-pandemic looks significantly different. A lot of the elders that may have had some amount of comorbidities earlier, all of a sudden they seem to have amplified. And a lot of the age-related ailments might be acting up. They need help, and this is where the opportunity for elder care players in India lies. The elder care space is very wide. There is place for generalists as well as specialists. There is space for assisted living. There is space also for unassisted active living. There is space for at-home programs. There is space for medical and non-medical services. This space is going to continue to grow, and I think a lot of private players have a role to play in ensuring that every elder in India is secure, safe, and their quality of life improve. While many businesses start from a business plan on a spreadsheet, Yodda wasn't one of those companies. Yodda was conceived from very deep personal experiences of losing both my parents to some severe and critical illnesses. I lost my dad to being paralyzed, and I lost my mom due to an aggravated form of breast cancer. While going through these experiences, I realized that some of the things that we took for granted when we lived in America were no longer true in India. A simple example, the ambulance that should have reached my dad's home within a few minutes didn't arrive at all. And that actually caused the issue where my dad lost the ability to sit, stand, talk and eat. Had the ambulance arrived on time, perhaps he could have recovered pretty strong from the paralytic attack. Even my mom, it wasn't a simple matter of taking her for her scheduled chemotherapy sessions or radiation sessions. There was a lot more involved in that. And once she passed away, I thought I was going to look seriously into this space of providing much needed services to elders in all sorts of forms, not just health. It was about health, it was about convenience, and overall it was about safety and security for them. That's how Yodda came into being, and since starting the company in October of 2020, we've come a very long way. We've launched 2 different offerings. Our first offering, Yodda Care, is a managed service where we end up doing all the service delivery for the elders ourselves and along with our network of partners. And Yodda Enable is a very strong emergency response system which takes into consideration the near and dear and loved ones of the elders and guides them through the process of emergency management. And since the launch of Enable, we've also managed to sign several enterprise deals where large companies offer elder care services to their employees. Our vision is that we are going to take this product large scale to the masses by controlling the price. We are not one of the companies that is going to charge an arm and a leg for people to be on our platform. Yodda takes pride not only in the technology and the operations we build, but also the kind of people we hire. We hire only army people because they are the epitome of ethical values, moral values, discipline, and they understand urgency. A critical emergency, a life-threatening emergency, can be very different from an uncomfortable emergency, like a broken bone. When an emergency occurs, we don't have a single person handling it, we have three teams that come into play. A back-end team that coordinates the logistics of the people, the ambulances, the money that will be required in the hospital. The second team provides assurances and assistance in the home or the location of where the emergency has happened. And the third team handles all the hospital formalities. Each of these people carrying information that is relevant and important for them to do their jobs well. Once the parent is in the hospital, they handle all the diagnostics that are required, the payments that are required, all the formalities for admitting them, all the formalities for insurance and billing and medicine delivery. Sometimes we need to organize private nurses and caretakers. My team is equipped for all of that. And this is just an example of one of the services, which is an emergency management. Anything that an elder would call a child for, they call us and we deliver professionally.